Yo, welcome back. In today's video we are going to be installing this Tado smart heating system, which I've laid out all the way behind me here. So straight off the get-go we'll just talk to you about Tado themselves. So straight away on this box here you can see this is the starter kit, which I've sent out for obviously for me to install. So in here you will do an unboxing in a minute and have a look exactly what's in the kit, but this is like the mains hubs. So you've got a wiring center, the actual wireless thermostat, which you can stick in the lounge, you can leave it on the side, you can get a stand, so you can put it on the kitchen side like this family member wants, which I'm installing it in today. And it's all compatible via their app, which can be downloaded on smartphones, tablets, etc. So you can control your heating and hot water anywhere you like. So this is the brains of it, the starter kit. This consists of an internet bridge, so connecting it via the internet, a wireless thermostat, so obviously like I said a second ago, you can have it in the kitchen side, you can move it around to where you potentially are not going to control it via the app, but you're going to control it via the actual thermostat, so maybe your lounge or somewhere like that, or a bedroom. And then actually has the wireless receiver as well. Moving on from the starter kit and the stand, we've got loads of the smart radiator thermostats, which obviously make it more customizable, so you can control the actual heating and the hotness temperature of each individual room, which I think is a cracking feature, especially if you've got like young kids or elderly members living with you on part of your family. Because as we all know, some elderly members would like their temperature a lot higher. So obviously you got the flexibility and the controllability via the app, which is 2 seconds to change that temperature. So that's the main feature I see from this. There is lots of all cool features which we'll go through when we install this system, but that's just a bit about what I know personally before installing this and having a little bit of a research. But we've got loads of these here, so obviously this replaces your traditional TRV. So I will put a photo on the screen here now, and then obviously you can see the style of these new ones, but it's very simple to install, DIY friendly, so it's literally a case of uninstalling the TRV and installing the Tado smart thermostat, which will run through this complete process of me installing it in this property. Before we go any further with this video, this is future Adam here, 3 weeks in advance after installing the Tado smart thermostat system. Yes, that's right, Tado, not Tado, as I pronounced it in this video. So that's just a quick disclaimer that I completely got that wrong on my part. It's easily done, but it is actually Tado, not Tado, as I was pronouncing it. So that's something just to bear in mind. And then also, generically, 3 weeks in advance, after the family member has been using this, I've asked for some feedback from themselves. I've just got it written down here on my phone, so I'll just refer back to that. But so far, the feedback of this whole kit is the usability, like I explained. So each individual room controllability is great. For say some parts of this house is newer than others, so they naturally have more insulation and they naturally retain the heat a lot, whereas other places, so where I'm currently situated, there's a lot of windows on the back, a big door, so it's naturally, and it doesn't have the sun on it, so naturally it doesn't get as hot, and it's quite a cold room. So this room, obviously you can control it individually and retain the heat. And then also other feedback has all been positive. So far, 3 weeks in, it's been a great system, and I'll jump back to the main video of me installing it in this cupboard here. So a bit about this property. It's a 3-bed semi-detached house, and has no immersion heater, nothing like that. Just in the kitchen here, it simply has a good old combi boiler. So I believe this one is a Worcester Bosch one, or Worcester, that's the brand up there. Yeah, Worcester Bosch. So we are going to have to potentially go into here and wire something up, which we'll get to with the instructions, but that's the script with that. So we haven't got to play with S-plan or Y-plan wiring, which is compatible with this kit here. So I think the first protocol we're going to go for is unboxing the starter kit and follow the instructions from the first step to the last step. And hopefully by the end of this, we'll have a smart controlled wireless heating system with TRVs, smart TRVs in every single room, and we'll be able to get rid of those ugly looking ones there. Let's unbox it with yourselves. So straight away you're greeted with the manuals for the professional installer. So Tado themselves have a professional installer scheme, which obviously you can sign up and then get benefits of extended warranties and lots more other advantages. So people like myself who are a qualified electrician and going to be potentially installing these products in consumers' houses can actually register for this here, the professional installers. But let's put those aside, and then we're greeted with this here. So the back pops off. So this is the actual thermostat itself, which goes into the rooms. It doesn't look like it has any buttons on it or anything like that. It's a very nice, sleek looking design, but it does actually have a bit of an LCD that pops up here when you pair it up. We'll run through that in more depth. I'd just like to quickly show off what actually comes in the box, the quality of how it's sent out, the packaging, because ultimately that's what us installers are going to see, and some of you customers that are installing this DIY-ly into your homes, it's going to help you and understand everything that you're actually getting in the box. Then we're greeted with, on the bottom, this is the internet stuff here. So we've got the internet bridge. So if I take that out quickly, on there we've got a pairing button. It says cloud, router, router, sorry, not router, and the power. So that's the like indicators with LEDs. On there, you've got an RJ45 connection, so you can plug that straight from there into your router. And then it's provided with a cable, which is here. So the one side, we've got a micro USB, and then we've got a USB-A and a also RJ45s for both sides. So you can plug that either directly into a USB socket, or you can plug it into an adapter and into a 230, 240 socket to power the actual internet bridge, which will give internet to the whole hub to allow all the devices to talk to each other. At the bottom of the box in here, we have got some cables. So we've got a length of cable there, that is 3-core cable. So we'll put that to a side. Pre-wired, we've got a 2-prong adapter, which is obviously for Europe. We won't probably be using that. And then here is the actual wiring center as such, as I would call it, like the receiver. So in here is obviously where the brains is. So I need to undo that screw and we can have a look in here. But I'm suspected I'm going to be greeted with loads of different screw terminals of where we can connect things together. So I've just had a little read of the installation guide and the manual for the professional installers. So I've had a little bit of read of that and we'll go on to that next. But firstly, I'd just like to show off obviously what comes in the box in the smart thermostats. So I've already cut the sticky label. Another thing to note is the sticky labels with the QR codes of how you actually connect them all in the app. On the installation guide, on one of the last pages, there's a section here where you can stick the labels or just like write down the codes, so then you don't have to keep running around the house to like scan all the different codes. So it might save you a bit of time if you just jot them down and write down, look, you're going to put this QR code in the front room, this one in the lounge, this one in the kitchen. So you can jot them all down. But let's have a look, see what's in the smart thermostat box. So straight away you're greeted with the thermostat itself and loads of different plastic adapters. So simply unscrew your TRV and then obviously you're adding or screwing on one of these adapters. So in here you've got majority of the common adapters seen on TRVs, like valves for radiators. I'm just going to quickly remove the protective film and show you. So if I remove that, so then once I've removed that, the top here is how you control it manually if you didn't want to control it via the app or you didn't have your phone on you. So obviously you can see here, you can hear that, and then you can pull the bottom off, and then that is how you access the QR code. Say if you've forgotten it or you want to install it in a new property and you want to take them with you, that's how you access that. You pull out this tab here and that releases the contact between the batteries. That's just from the factory to stop the batteries going dead. Already has batteries installed, so I'm going to pull that out later on when we come to install these on the radiators. Let's open the installation guide and follow the steps. So straight away, number 1 step is install the app, obviously on the Google Play Store or Android, depending what IO system you've got. So simply, we're going to straight away pull out my phone. I'm on iPhone, so I'll download the Tado app. You want to open up the App Store, go on here, type Tado. So there we go. Straight away it pops up. Nice orange logo there. install. So that's now installed, so we're going to open that, and I suspect we're going to have to create an account. Yep, so I'll just quickly create an account, fill all my details in, all the normal script, and then we'll go on to the next step, which, as you can see right here, is follow the step-by-step installation instructions in the app. So let's get to that step. So I've just filled out the basic information, filled in my address here, and then now I'm on to choose a unique name to identify your phone or tablet. So this one is obviously Adam's iPhone. Going on to the next step, so geofencing. So this will link in with, say, when you leave the property. Obviously you could set it all up so the heating turns off, or there's so much customizability with this Tado system, which is super cool with smart tech, which obviously I like and enjoy because it's the new thing and we've all got to keep up with it. So I'm going to share my location with that. So it's asking now, would I like to have notifications, which obviously I would, so I'm going to allow those. And then straight away we're greeted with here, my home, and now onto the bit where we can add devices. So it's either saying if you haven't got any devices, you can buy them there. Or if we've already got some devices, which we obviously have, we can click add device. So let's click add device on here and follow these instructions. We've finished that one set of instructions, which is the basic setting up the app. So now this one opens up, and this one's a bit more technical. So this is actually how we're going to be installing it. So let's find number 1 on here. So here we are. Let's keep it nice and simple. So we want to install the internet bridge and pair it to the wireless temperature sensor, so the wireless thermostat as such. So that is that device there, and then the internet bridge is in here on the far left. So I'll just plug all this together, and we'll go and plug this into the internet router and give it a few minutes to connect up. Referring back to the instructions, it says connect the internet bridge to the router. If no USB port is available on the router, you can use obviously the power adapter. Press and hold the pairing button until the LED starts blinking. Well, that's ironic. Typical electrician, not put enough sockets in behind the TV unit. But I'll temporarily just rig it up with an extension lead, just so we can get it on and working. And then I'll rectify this issue after by getting a smaller extension lead and making it all hidden. Or I'll actually install some more double sockets for this certain family member, as they're not too bad and I do actually like them. So we'll plug that in to give it some power. Straight away there you can see the LED indicators have started to come on. So straight away it's saying solid for power, so the power is fine. Straight away solid to the router, so it's saying it's got an internet connection. And then the top one is the cloud. So then I'll just run back and get the instructions, but from my memory it's press and hold the pairing until it starts flashing. So we'll press and hold that for a few seconds. And there we go. So an indicator has come at the top where it says pairing and it's blinking. So now we're on to the next one, which is remove the battery strip in the back of that device down there. And then press the button for 3 seconds to start pairing it. So that's pairing the wireless thermostat to the actual internet bridge, allowing them all to talk to each other. Saying it could take up to a few minutes, and it's saying the status icon will pop up with 2 linking icons once it's confirmed. Is this tab here, which we are going to pull out, and that should have activated the batteries now. And then pull, so straight away we're greeted with it's saying hi, and then let's start and press and hold for the pairing to take place. So we're going to press and hold this circular button for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. And now that is linking, so I'm going to let go of that. And that's now searching for the internet bridge, which I'm pretty sure it has found. If you are trying to pair these 2 devices together and you're not within a proximity of 3 meters, it does say it could potentially fail. Obviously the wireless range is greater than 3 meters once connected. However, it does say there is potential it could fail if you're not close by. So obviously this is definitely closer than 3 meters. Step number 3, it's saying mount the actual wireless receivers on the wall where you want it going, or if you're just going to have it on the side, obviously just mount it to the stand. So it's provided with sticky pads, screws, wall plugs, so you can mount that up. And it's saying also mount on the wall the wireless receiver. The only thing I would note is just have a look where you're going to put this. So I would actually read the whole instruction manual before installing this. So let's go over to the next step and have a look, see how we're actually going to wire this up, so then we can decide where we're going to position the actual receiver itself. Before I go any further, I'm just going to quickly add that internet bridge onto the Tado app, as that was the next thing to do. Just obviously scan a device. So I'm going to scan the QR code down there, so just get nice and close with a clear picture, and it's picked that straight away up. So internet bridge found, so that's found it, and now it's saying connected to the internet, which obviously we've already done. Connected to a power supply, yep, it's confirmed it's connected, and then we're on. So because we've already linked them together, it's now recognised the other one. So obviously we've got the wireless temperature sensor, which is in my hand here, which is already picked up because it's already paired up to the current internet bridge. So now we just need to add other devices. So straight away, let's go and have a look at the wiring system and how we're going to wire this up into the boiler to make it actually work. This is the generics of the home screen on the Tado app. So it's nice and simple. Obviously you've got the home there, geofencing, setting that up, air, energy, IQ, care and protect, the heating itself, and then nice simple buttons at the top so you can turn it on and off for all the rooms like a master switch. You've got schedules you can set up, and then boost heating as well. So say if you just want the heating on for an hour in the evening just to warm up the whole property before some guests arrive, then that is an ideal. Let's have a little look on how we're going to be installing this. So current setup on this is literally one singular cable going out, which goes into the garage, which is on the other side of the wall. So we're going to have a look at that. And this is a common boiler, so it's just got a feed straight to it. So we'll suspectedly have to take the front off this, obviously isolating it and make sure it's safe to do so before that, and then do some wiring up in there. But let's go and have a look on the other side of the garage. So I'm in the garage now. This is the current setup. So straight away there, we've got a old fuse spur, which I'm going to double check has got a 3 amp fuse in. And then straight out of there, we've got that white flexible cable coming out. Loads of slack left, cable tied together, tacked not the best, so I'll tidy that all up. And then that white flex just goes straight through the wall there, and you can see the pipes coming through where the back of the boiler is. Whilst we're here, I am just going to isolate the boiler supply. So I do know that is the boiler supply, so I'll turn that off. So we've got the wireless receiver here, we've got the QR code ready, we've got the app still signed on with adding another device selectable. So straight away scanning a device. Oh, I've just scanned the QR code of the instructions, my bad. Right, let's add device and let's scan that one there. So straight away it's recognised it as a wireless receiver and popped up with a product code, so we're going to register that device. So it's saying now your wireless receiver is ready to be installed. Continue to view your step-by-step installation instructions. This device will be paired and powered during the installation. So that's perfect. So view installation instructions. So let's have a look and a read of them. So which controller do you want to replace with the Tado wireless receiver? So now it's saying what have we previously got. So I'm just going to have a look around this property and have a look of what actually system is installed here. So just to recap here, we've got two options. If we can't find an existing controller to replace, we can put in the boiler model to get instructions for connected directly into the boiler, or if we can find something, we can select the model down there. So we'll just go for a little walk around the property. I've got a funny feeling it might be in the lounge by the light switch, so we'll go and have a look and see what it is. So I found the old thermostat. So this is it. So it's a Worcester, the same make as the boiler, so I presume it's compatible via that. The only thing, I'm not too sure if this is a wireless one, as I'm not a plumber, so I am going to, obviously we've isolated the supply to the boiler, so I'm going to have a look to see. Commonly there's a screw underneath, somewhere under there, or like little push-in buttons to take it off, so I'm just going to have a look to see if it is a fully wireless system. The model is a Worcester Digistat, so let's select model and let's type in WORCESTER, and now we've got Worcester in there, and let's have a look if it recognises Digistat. Digistat has popped up straight away, and it's perfect really. It's even got a photo on there so you can match it identically, because on here there's a Digistat Mark 1 and a Digistat Mark 2, which straight away from these photos this is indicating that it's a Digistat Mark 2. So we're going to click that there. You selected a wireless room thermostat, so that's answered my question. It is fully wireless. So the Tado wireless receiver is not designed to replace a room thermostat. Instead, please go back to select the receiver of your wireless unit thermostat, which is usually located next to the boiler. If your receiver is built into the boiler, search for the boiler model, which I think it might be here as it's a combination boiler, and select the version with the incorporated receiver. So we're going to have to connect it straight into the boiler and obviously decommission this old room stat. We now just need to search for the model of this boiler, and we're going to connect it straight up into that, and it's going to give us simple instructions to do so. So now the hard bit begins, which is finding out the make and model of this boiler. People would commonly know that when it's their boiler. However, as you know, it's not actually my boiler. So let's go on a little bit of a hunt to try and find the make and model of this boiler here. Obviously I know it's a Worcester Bosch one, but trying to find the actual numbers. Ah, there we go. That looks something like it. Green Star 30 SI. That sounds like something that might be of use to me. So let's type that in and see what happens. So we've got Green Star. Ah, there we go. It's popping up with some. Green Star. We've got 30 SI. Right, so we've got a 30 SI manufactured. Yeah, so in here, there is the current receiver and everything of this, because obviously it was a Worcester wireless receiver. So in here I just need to select the right one, so I'm just going to have a read through all of these different ones. So I think I found the right model. The photo looks identical. The numbers match up. It's 30 SI Green Star, which it says there. It says Worcester, so let's confirm with that. It does say if you've selected the wrong model, you can go back, because obviously this is just instructions. So let's select that, and now we want to view our instructions. So it's telling us, prepare for the installation. You're going to need a phase tester to ensure electricity supply is turned off, which obviously I've done because I'm an electrician. I know how that works, but like I said, worst case scenario, having a proper electrical tester and isolate. If you're unsure, just isolate your whole house just to be on the safe side, and obviously lock it off properly if you're in a property where someone could turn it on you. Just confirming that you have turned off the mains power, which is a brilliant little safety step, to be fair. So we'll confirm we've turned the power off, because we have. So now it's saying open up the boiler, look up for the place where there's lots of wires. So 99% of the time they are always, if I just rotate you up, on that panel just there. So if I just point of where we're going to be doing, so I need to take this front cover off, and then this front panel here is like the control panel, normally folds down, and then you can access all the wiring behind. There is 2 screws underneath, which I'll show in a second, and then there's 2 screws at the top. Big shout out to Chris, my plumber mate who I just rang. So we've got a screw there to pop it off, and then under here we've got these plastic inserts there and there. You just back them off a bit. They don't come fully out, but they are quite long threads apparently, and they stay within the casing. The only other thing to note, which Chris has just told me, when you actually are removing a boiler case, which are technically, it's a bit of a grey area, obviously you can and you can't, but you are obviously removing the combustion seal as such, so making sure you reinstate it to properly and making sure everything's nice and tight, because it obviously is combustion inside of there. Ah, there we go. Internals of the boiler. So now you can see straight away it's going to be fairly straightforward to pull this whole panel down. So I'll take it, it's just unscrew that metal strap there with another Phillips screw. That'll allow this to fold forward, and then we can get to looking at locating where the wires are actually going, which I know from previous experience is into the back of all of this here. So we'll drop that forward and have a look. Another little tip my mate did say, because he's installed loads of these Tados and lots of other different smart thermostats, is on these specific systems I currently have got installed here, this behind here is what actually talks to the room stat in the lounge, so I need to actually disconnect this off the PCB inside the back of here so we can install the new Tado system and they don't clash together. I'm just going to undo this screw here, which I presume is just holding that up, and that will fold down nicely. We can see all the cables in the back enter in here, so it says isolate the mains before removing that cover. So we've isolated it. I've got my little tester. I'm just going to test on a few of these little cables here, make sure everything's dead, and then we're going to actually remove this cover here and have a look at how we're going to wire this system up and how it's currently wired to the current system. On the app here, we're still at the stage of opening the boiler case, so we've done that. We're going to continue now. So now it's saying make sure the power's off on all the testers, so I've done that. Now what we're going to do is, it says take photos of what is the current system in case you need to revert it back, or in case you mess something up, to obviously show potential professional if you are mess something up and then you're getting a professional in to do it. So now it's saying document the existing wiring, so take photos, which is a great little feature. So I'm going to stay on that step, take off this cover and take some photos myself. I've taken out 3 screws which are down there. So there was one there, one in that back corner and one in that back corner. I'm going to pop this off now and then double triple check everything is dead. So that pops off like so, put that nice and safe, and then I'm going to just double check everything's dead and everything else is labelled up for us to have a look and wire up. Old timer / controller off the front of the boiler, which obviously this boiler definitely has, which is that section there. So it's saying arrow there, pull up. So I presume I've got to take this screw out there, pull that one up out of the way, and then that will allow me to slide this one up and out of the way, and then undo the little pin on the back of it. Slide off, yeah, so that pushes up and allows that to come out. And then under here we've got some more wiring, so we're going to disconnect this. I just need to have a look behind it. Yeah, so we need to unplug that out of the PCB there on the back. So I need to unplug that little bit there and then just slot it basically back on, so it looks the same. You're not left with a big hole in your boiler, but it's actually disconnected. So I've been online and found the manual for this boiler here. So on there it says Green Star 30 SI condensating boiler. So I found that exact wiring diagram and made sense of it all. And then I've just been on the phone to my plumber mate just to double triple check everything I'm doing is correct, so I'm not telling false information to you guys, and ultimately I'm doing this right myself, because it's the first time I've done one of these like this where I've done the whole install on my own. So it's a great learning curve. But right here we've got live and neutral in, so that's directly from our fuse spur, which is nice and easy. Then we've got N and LS and then your live return. So live stat, neutral stat, live return. Over here we didn't got to play with these, but we've got 2 for the frost stat and 1 for neutral pump, live pump. That's for something if you wanted anything additional. So we haven't got to play with any of that lot over there. We've just got to play with this lot. So we're going to take out that bridge connector. We're going to use the cable supplied, which is here. My mate has run me through, so we're going to use orange as the live return. So we're going to take that connector out. Then we're going to use, I'm going to get some sleeving, and I'm going to use black with a bit of brown on as live, grey as neutral with a bit of blue on, and that is going to be wired up into the Tado receiver on here. So black is obviously our live, going to go into there, grey is going to be sleeved up as our neutral going into that one. Our orange is going to be our open normally onto there, and then I'm going to put a link cable from a live into the common, which is that. So it's similar to wiring up a normal switch. Grab some blue and brown sleeving so I can sleeve up the cables here, obviously the grey and the black. Put a raw plug in the wall there, which is provided. I've already got one in the wall there. Make sure it's level, mount that on the wall, and then get this cable, which is plenty for here, from there up and round into the correct grommet. So all you do is you cut the top off, there's a little screw in there, undo that a bit, poke the cable through, screw that plastic screw onto the cable just to pinch it a little bit into place, and then obviously once we're in here we can wire it up, put some fancy ferrules on and get that all wired up. So both of those screws have bit now, and then we'll get a little pocket level on the top, adjust them a bit to to make sure it's level, and then we can start taking out the cable glands and feeding the cables in, which is provided. I have just made this little bit of a link cable here. I'm going to sleeve it all with a bit of brown, so it's indicated as a live, which is obviously just going to bridge between our live down here and into the common. I'm just installing the bridge cable, which I just made. So that's nice and tight. Got a bit of brown sleeving indicating that it's a live cable, so obviously to be cautious. So now the last one to terminate is the neutral, so that's going obviously in the N, which is standing for neutral. You're probably watching this thinking, why is he going into so much detail explaining the obvious things? But I've watched videos before where people haven't explained that, and that you never know, there might be someone out there who doesn't know absolutely everything about electric, so I'd rather just explain absolutely everything. Like I have said previously, this isn't, I am showing you how I'm doing it, but it's more of a learning curve for other trades as well, other Sparkies out there who want to learn into doing this. But I would recommend, if you're not confident in electrics, then obviously get a professional to do it. So that's nice and tight. Now, the other thing to note, you don't want the insulation showing out. You don't want to just strap the cables like that. So we're going to bend these up like that and then bend them back. I'll reconfigure these and then tighten it onto the cable clamp so that it is nice and tightly secure, and then there's no single layer of insulation exposed out of that enclosure. So it's going to sneak up there, and then it's going to go straight into the back of the unit here, which I've just temporarily screwed up out the way. So if I zoom you out and then tilt you back a bit, you should be able to see in a second where we're going to go. So it's going to come up here, along through the back where this other cable is, into a fresh hole into the back of the boiler. That's it all in and wired up. So we've got this cable coming in here, it's cable glanded on, that is correct. And then here we've got the black sleeved up as brown, going into the live, piggybacking off the live. We've got the same with the neutral, and then we've got the orange terminated in the live return. And then we've took out the jumper lead, which was here. So that's what you commonly find in boilers. So I can put this semi back together, put it all back together, and underneath here I'm going to cable tie this cable to this one up here, so it's all up out of the way, nice and neat. There ain't a lot you can do. You could put loads of tacks in the wall here, but if it was my house, I would much rather just have one nice neat cable tie at the top there and another one holding it to that other cable. Put the cover back on, and then we can turn it on and give it a go, really, because I take it you're not really meant to fire up boilers with the cover off like this. So especially not myself, who's not a gas engineer and carrying out a service. So just to be on the safe side, I'd rather spend 5 minutes, quickly put it back together, turn it on, and then carry on setting up the receiver. And now the next stages are pairing up the receiver. But before we do that, I'll put this bit back together, put that back up, and then I'll show you what we're doing with this. Leave that disconnected here. The only reason we're not just leaving this off is because obviously it looks unsightly, and obviously there's electrical connections there from the motherboard which don't want to be disturbed. So you just leave this disconnected, as this was the module which actually spoke to the one in the lounge. So we're going to leave this off, but like my mate said, if you ever want to move property and take this Tado system with you and install it at your new house, it would always be worthwhile leaving this here and keeping the old one, so then you can recommission the old one, because obviously you know how to do it, and then take the Tado to the new place. So I'm just going to leave that disconnected and just literally slot that on the back. The boiler cover back on, everything's all secure. I've done the 2 screws underneath, 2 screws at the top. Everything's wired up. We know I need to tidy that up. I'll tidy it up and make it look pretty in a minute. But let's go and turn it on. Back to the app. That's saying that it's currently offline, but it should be ready to go. If there is any problems or I've wired it up wrong, it'll probably tell me on here. So yeah, I shouldn't do, because I did follow the instructions, but you never know. So let's go and turn the power back on and see what happens. And we have light. So I must have done something right. Right, let's refresh the app and have a look, see if it's unconnected. I've got power at the receiver now. So now we've wired it up, we've done all this, and now we're on to pairing the wireless receiver, which obviously we just wired up. So it's saying put the cover on the device to Titan to secure it, plug it on, wait 30 seconds, press the button for 3 seconds to start pairing. So that's the Wi-Fi button on the top. So I need to put this lid back on first. So let's put this on and then we can start pairing it. Press and hold it. We're on to the pairing stage as it's indicating now. So yeah, it's obviously going to now pair up with the other stuff. It's in the pairing mode as well. And then on the next stage it says pair successful, so we are successfully connected, and obviously it's indicating that by that solid light on the right. The left hand one is just a power indicator. So now it's saying congratulations, installation in Tado device was successful, so we can close that and we are all connected. So the only thing left to do really is give it a go. All up and running. This is the home screen, so we've got the heat in here, so we can set it on up here in the top right corner onto schedules. So you can set that all up, obviously your day in day out schedules, so you can have a winter schedule, a summer schedule, home or away, different for in the weekdays to the weekends. You can alter that all on here and set that up to your individual needs. But here, so let's crank it up. So say we want the heating in here on 25 degrees. As soon as you put that on 25 degrees, the actual thermostat wireless one itself, which is here. So as soon as you alter something on the app, so let's alter that down to 22, it alters it on the actual wireless thermostat itself as well. So that's gone down to 22. So that is going to be screwed onto that stand, as that's where this family member wants that going. So that can sit there a minute. But just to prove it works, so the boiler is currently on and trying to tick up to 22 degrees. But if I turn this all the way to off, like so, and then wait a few minutes, normally there's about a minute and a half delay, roughly, until it actually kicks off. So I've just heard it tick, and it's just turned off. And you can see in the background, up here, the light has gone off. And then if I want to turn it back on, so we go back up to 25 degrees, give it a few more minutes again and it'll kick back in. So there we go, it's just clicked on and now you can hear the boiler roaring up. One little thing I will mention is, obviously when playing with the boiler case, obviously technically you're not really meant to do it, you are meant to be gas safe registered. However, tomorrow I have got a boiler service booked in, so my local plumbers I do loads of work for are going to come here and check obviously the seal, which I spoke about before, and give everything a health check and double check what I've done is correct. So if you are trying to install one of these, then just bear that in mind. You can alter the heating via this. So obviously 25 degrees, do I want it lower or higher? I want it lower, go down to 21 degrees or go wherever you want. So that's the app all set up. Regarding the hot water, obviously it just kicks in when you turn the tap on because it's a combi boiler. Regarding the heating, obviously we've sorted that one out. I've just turned it off because obviously the boiler's in this room so you don't get a load of background noise. So now we're on to fitting the smart radiator thermostats, which obviously all pairs in, and we can set it all up so we can sync this radiator to be the kitchen radiator. So let's simply unscrew this old one. So you want to unscrew that and then pull him off. That was the old piece of junk which we've ripped off. And then now what we're going to be using is this Tado Smart one, which is obviously going to be added to our app. Just had a bit of a demo run with a few of the different rooms. So I've set one up in the radiator over there, and I've set one up in the lounge. So I've had a bit of a go, just seeing how it pairs up and stuff. But we're on to this one here. So I've ripped that one off and then found the correct adapter using the app. So when you go to add them on, it tells you what adapter to use. So you put that adapter on, making sure there's no gap between there and the actual bottom of the valve, and then you fasten that on with the bolt and nut provided. So I'll do that now. So we're going to fasten that on, just making sure it's getting a good secure fitting. In the video here, we are removing the battery seal, allowing the contacts and the device to turn on. Next, I'm going to scan the QR code and add that device into my home. Here it has found the correct device and I'm registering it onto the app. Next it's saying pull off the bottom bit of the device, and then we want to move on to the pairing stage, so press and hold the button for 3 seconds. Once successful, you'll see those 3 lines appear, and that's in the pairing mode. Here we're just labelling this smart thermostat for the radiator called kitchen, as that's where it's situated. You can change this at any point. Back to the rooms and devices, you can see here that the kitchen one has appeared, however it has a spanner next to it as it's not calibrated yet and the device is not installed. Once installed, the device will calibrate and then it will be ready to use. Here I'm demonstrating how it says top, so that is where the LED indicator is going to be displayed on the device. That's that one completed. So obviously you've got the manual adjustment if wanted, or obviously on the app. So we'll just go around the house now. Some of the radiators in this house have different valves, but they are supplied with all the different adapters for different valves or existing TRVs. Been around the house and installed a few more of the smart radiator thermostats. I've still got a few more to go around and do upstairs, but I'm just going to wrap up this video here and cover a few key points. So if you are part of that program which I mentioned before, like the installer program, then there's added benefits like you can get an extended warranty of up to 5 years, and the Tado themselves are obviously giving back to the people that are installing their products day in day out and supporting them. So they are giving back to you by giving you rewards from repeat purchases on products, which is nice because we all love a little freebie. As you've seen, the app is very useful, from giving you instructions to a simple install. So as long as you're following the instructions, which a lot of people struggle to do nowadays, then you're not really going to run into any flaws. Or if you do, on the app it still has like a help section, so then it obviously just gets you straight on to whether you want to speak to a member of the staff or you want to just follow like a troubleshooting guide, which if obviously it's out of hours you'd follow the troubleshooting guide. But it's quite helpful really. The overall experience of installing this system so far is simple and fairly easy to explain to you guys, considering it's the first one I've done full in depth to installing the internet bridge, the receiver, the wireless thermostat, pairing it all together, and then also I've never really played with TRVs before, so pulling off the old TRVs, finding the right adapter, which the app helped me with the instructions, then installing the new smart radiator thermostats, and they look really smart to be fair. Very easy to use if you wanted to use it the old-fashioned way of manually turning it, and the app, well, it's flawless really. So straight away as soon as you click on it now, as you can hear, the heating's on. So on there I've got all the different ones I've set up so far. So I've got the kitchen dining, the lounge, and obviously the heating, and it's even saying on the heating window open detected, so it's detecting that there's a window open. So I'm going to wrap this video up here, but that has been me installing the V3 Starter Kit. So that consists of the internet bridge, the smart receiver and the smart thermostat. I've not built that together yet on the stand. I'm going to do a short clip of that, so you'll see that in the future. But obviously putting the brains together, and then obviously we've been installing these around the house, the smart radiator thermostats, which replace your standardised TRV valves as people would have known them. So that's been me installing those two things and setting up the app in the basic form. I've not gone into too much depth yet on the app, as I want to actually use it myself and learn a bit more before I tell you guys any more information. So obviously I've got to play around with the geofencing, setting up the scheduling so I can have it on different Monday to Friday schedule of normal your working week schedule, and then have the weekends as a bit of a different schedule, or there's loads of different options you can set up on there. So I'm going to have a look through and adjust all that to the customer's needs, and then I can let you know how we get on with that. So I'm just going to leave that video here, but I'd just like to say a quick thanks to Tado for sending out the products here. They've all been gifted, and obviously been asked to film a video to explain to you guys of how I'm installing it as an electrician. I'm going to be registering on their professional installer scheme, and hopefully learning a few more tips and tricks, because so far I've learned a lot today and it's something different, so it will definitely make my life easier come to installing it in another person's house, as I know a few tips and tricks to make my life easier with finding the right TRV adapter, setting up the wiring for the boiler, understanding that side, so understanding about the neutral open, your switch lives. Obviously this is a combi boiler, so it's a little bit more simplistic compared to like S-plan or Y-plan wiring where you've got different zone valves, but I look forward to getting involved in all that. So definitely a massive thanks to Tado for sending out all the products and asking for these videos, but we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.